Almost 11 years ago, Olympus released the Olympus EM5 Mark II, which was a replacement for the original Olympus EM5. This camera came with several upgrades, including video upgrades, which was a way to attract hybrid shooters to Micro Four Thirds and Olympus, and it boasted of 5-axis image stabilization as well as pixel shift high resolution photography, and it was very lightweight and just small, compact, as a way to invite DSLR users over to the Micro Four Thirds system. So it was, should I say bouncing baby boy or girl, depending on whichever you prefer. From this, you can already tell that this camera was created for enthusiasts, advanced shooters, maybe people that were beginning but wanted to start at the top. It was very good for street photographers, and it was created for them, landscape photographers, architectural photographers, people like that, and even hybrid shooters, and of course people who were already using Micro Four Thirds or Olympus cameras who wanted an upgrade. While this is still 2025, we are just a couple of days from 2026, so I'm going to use 2026 for this video. So 11 years later, is the Olympus EM5 Mark II worth buying? I've been using the Olympus EM5 Mark II for 3 years now, so I'm going to answer that question in this video. In case you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is David Joseph. I'm a macro wildlife photographer based in Nigeria, and I've been using the Olympus EM5 Mark II for 3 years now. I've used this camera for macro wildlife photography, I've used it for casual portrait, I've used it for street photography, and I've used it for, should I say, everyday kind of photography for the past 3 years now. So yeah, that is why I'm the right person to give you this review of if the camera is worth buying in 2026. I'll be honest with you, the Olympus EM5 Mark II is a great camera despite its age. This camera, when paired with the right lens, can do wonders. Magic, to be honest. I've used this camera and taken pictures with it that have won competitions and won awards, and that just shows you the level. I mean, you can't just use any type of camera for that. So in terms of photography, macro wildlife photography specifically, this camera does it well. It has autofocus bracketing, which is essential in macro wildlife photography. It's not as fast as the EM1 in terms of that, but then it does it efficiently. You may have to drop your differential to differential 3 or differential 4 for it to be able to catch up with like the speeds of the EM1, but it's not something that you're going to struggle with because, I mean, auto is auto. So yeah, it does it very well. In terms of autofocusing, this camera focuses pretty fast. I've mainly used it with the Olympus 60mm macro, which has been excellent when paired together. I've used this camera for 3 years, and I guess that's the third time I'm saying it, but I've never had any problem with it in terms of photography. So in terms of photography, I'm going to say this camera is for everyone. I may not recommend it if you want to use it for pro sports photography or maybe pro wildlife photography as your primary camera. Reason being that it doesn't have strong battery. That's a weak point, and it's not going to be able to, last you for prolonged hours and be doing those fast burst shots. So yeah, in terms of that, no, I'm not going to recommend it. So it's not like for a pro photographer if you want it as your primary camera, but if you're an advanced photographer, maybe enthusiast, amateur, even beginner, anyhow you just want to classify it, maybe need something for everyday carry and everyday shooting, yes, this camera is for you. And even if you're a pro but you need a camera to act as a secondary camera, yes, you can get this. And also if you're a pro but you maybe don't shoot very heavy, yes, you can still use this camera. And that's it in terms of photography. Minus the battery, yes, this camera is still worth it in 2026, minus the battery. So yeah, in case you're wondering about the megapixel, come on, it doesn't matter. I mean, you could use a 12MP. Someone like me, I started with the phone, so I've never been that high or crazy about megapixel counts, because starting with the phone taught me to just always shoot it right in camera, compose there and all of that, so that I don't have to really crop in post. So I've never had a problem with the 16 megapixels of this camera. Besides, if you need something that is higher in pixels, only if it's going to be like a clear stable thing and maybe you have a tripod with you, you can always use the high pixel mode. I've actually never used that, but I know it's always there because reason is because I'm always shooting things that are moving and all of that. So I just had to let you know about that. So yeah, that's it for me in terms of photography with this camera and just how it is. In terms of video, this camera may not be your best pick, but I mean it could still be a very good pick for you depending on what you shoot and how you shoot. If you are looking for high resolution, well, it's only capped at 1080p, so no 4K here, but then well, resolution doesn't matter to everyone, right? So if it doesn't matter to you, then yeah, it takes it. But then at the same time, if you want slow mo that you have to do it in camera, not like in post, then this camera is not going to offer you that because it does not shoot high frames per second. So that's something I just had to let you know in terms of video. And the footage you get from this camera cannot be heavily color graded because it's going to, likely break. And I can't blame the camera because it was released over a decade ago, right? So yeah, it may not like live up to modern expectations of video quality from cameras. Besides, this is not like a pro camera. It wasn't a pro camera when it was released, so you can't forgive it for that. So if these things don't matter to you or maybe matter to you, they will really influence if you find this camera worth buying for video in 2026. If you're a beginner content creator or just someone who is getting into filmmaking or just casual filming, maybe you just want to do vlogs for yourself, maybe for your family, friends, all that stuff, I mean you won't have a problem with this camera in terms of video. However, there's a downside. You do need to have lots of batteries because the battery in this camera may not help you make videos for a long time. I mean, it's going to shut down, it's going to get low. And as someone who's held this camera for a long time, they got to a point whereby at certain times while recording, this camera would give me a heat warning. It would be like, yeah, it's too hot right now, and you have to maybe shut down the camera. And those were things I liked because it meant that I had to stop recording and just shut down the camera. A couple of times it would shut down by itself. And no, this isn't me like trying to say bad about the camera, but just a honest review of my experience with the camera and how it happened. So you are going to definitely need extra batteries, and of course you are going to need to just be shooting in a place that is not very hot. In terms of weather sealing, this camera is weather sealed and it can withstand splashes and all those stuff. But I have to be honest, there have been a couple of times when after exposing it to raindrops and things like that, I discovered that certain parts of it were not working as it should. The first, and should I say the one I experienced this most with, was the on and off switch. Is it weather sealed? Yes, but should you let it be exposed to rain and all that stuff? No. I mean, if it ever has to be, just I don't know, just don't let it be exposed to rain. I'm just being honest at this point. It's weather sealed, yes, but don't expose it to rain and all that stuff. In terms of build quality, yes, this is a camera with great build quality. It's going to deliver just anyhow you want it, be it muddy grounds or maybe all that stuff. It's very rugged. I have to mention that you won't even find a scratch on it. Actually, you will, but not that kind of scratch. I mean, just normal wear and tear from cameras. To round this video up, I have to let you know that this camera is Wi-Fi enabled, meaning that you can transfer files from the camera to your PC or to your phone without any hassle or needing extra cables. So yeah, even though it's 11 years ago that it was released, it still has its feature that many cameras even after it did not have. So that is applause for the camera. In the used market currently, you can find this camera for 250 to 350 USD, and that depends on the condition you find it in. So is this camera worth buying in 2026? Yes, but then it depends. It depends on you, it depends on your wants, and it depends on how long you want to use it. So see you next time, or let's just say bye. Yeah, we've just come to the end of the video. Bye.